Welcome back, everyone. As you probably guessed from the title, we're going over a couple different thermals today. These are from DNT Optics. They are both the low end in terms of price point as well as the high end of their Hydra thermal line. So we have this guy here, which is the budget star, if you will, starting out right now over at their website at 999 units of measure. This is the HS325. And then we also have this guy here that you've seen some shooting with. You've seen shooting with both probably at this point, but this is a 635. That's the higher end of the thermal spectrum in the Hydra line. There also is a mid one. I don't have that, but I think we can guess, just basically looking at the different images that you guys are going to see throughout this video, how they will perform. And so what is it? Well, obviously it's a thermal optic. They have a couple different magnification points that we'll talk about as we go through the video, but as we have it set up here, it's set up as a scope. However, it doesn't have to do that. It can do all of the thermal functions, if you will. So it has a scope set up like we have here, with a ton of different reticles. They have excellent reticles. They also have a BDC with up to, I think, 8,000 calibers they have listed in there. And you can actually input that either through the app on your phone or straight into the device as well when you're actually setting it up, setting your round up for your rifle. There's 10 different profiles in terms of zeroing. So if you wanted to use this on a bunch of different rifles, you absolutely can do so. You can zero it on your AR, then you can zero it on your bolt action 6 Creedmoor and store both zeros in it, and then as you go to shoot, you just pick which reticle and which zero that you want, and you're good to go on that gun. So very versatile in terms of having one thermal that you can use on a bunch of guns. It definitely will fill that role. It also will fill the role of a clip-on. So as we have it here, obviously it's set up to be used as a scope like we were just talking about, but you can take this little guy off here, this eyepiece off. As you can see, it's very compact as well, and then mount this in front of your scope. And basically you just have to change a setting inside of there, and that will turn your reticle off, and it will also allow you to zero the thermal to your scope, which I realize sounds a little funny, but it makes total sense if you guys have ever used clip-ons. So what you want is you want the center of the image as centered as possible on your scope, and with all the different height mounts and things like that we have these days, sometimes you have to move it around a little bit to get the best performance, but it's really easy to do. One thing that's beautiful about these thermals is that zeroing them, regardless of if you're zeroing it as a clip-on or if you're zeroing it as a scope, is extraordinarily easy. So this one actually has a cool feature that not a lot of thermals have. So when you go to zero it, you just fire your shot. You can press a button to take a photo, if you will, on the actual internal memory, and then you don't even have to look at the target anymore. You can just move the center of your reticle to where that impact was, and then hit the button again to save it, and that will be your zero. So very, very cool in that regard. And like I mentioned, you can have a bunch of different zeros in there, a bunch of different reticles, a bunch of different color palettes that we will talk about here in just a second. It also has recording, so you guys have obviously seen some footage so far in this video. But it has a bunch of different modes of recording. So you can set it up, again, all this stuff goes in the menu. You can set it up so that way it will record 6 seconds before and 6 seconds after the shot breaks. You can also set it up by just pressing the record button, just tapping it lightly, and that will give you a 10-second clip. Or you can press and hold the record button, and that will record until you tell it not to record. So it has a ton of different things going on. We mentioned the clip-on, and then also obviously you could remove this mount here and just use it as a thermal monocular to scan your environment. So if you're, maybe you heard some coyotes and you're trying to figure out where the heck they are, you can do that without pointing your rifle at a bunch of different people and things like that that might be in the area. So a lot of different possibilities with this. So I suppose with that, let's actually get this thing mounted up here on a tripod and walk you through some of the different images that you can expect to see with the thermal. I do want to take a minute to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is the good folks over at 1775 Coffee. They are out here giving away a free starter kit loaded with premium coffee and gear. While coffee prices have jumped over 30% this year, 1775 is out here launching freebies like someone left the marketing team unsupervised. But that's only while quantities last. So with this deal, you'll get 3 bags of coffee, 2 16-ounce of your choice, dark or medium, plus their longevity blend infused with anti-aging AKG, clinically proven to reduce biological age. Translation, turns out the fountain of youth comes in 16 ounces and doesn't taste like kale. So you cover the 2 bags, 1775 covers the rest. That's a full 16-ounce bag of coffee plus premium gear a matte black tumbler, frother, gold scoop, or reusable K-cup filter, whole bean, ground, or pods. That's up to you. You can pick from the menu. Start your day with coffee that backs your values, clears your head, fires you up, and makes you feel like yourself again. Go to 1775coffee.com/GNG and grab your free starter kit before someone realizes this was a terrible business decision. Obviously, we are not weapon mounted at this point. That's why it might be a little wobbly. Those people out there, they are small statured females, both under 5'6". It is dusk right now, so if it was actually night, they'd be popping a little bit cleaner. But they're out there well past 600 yards. I had to guess, just doing quick math here in my head, it's probably about 800 yards away. And right now, we're at about 500 yards, maybe 450. And again, you guys can see just how easy it is to see them pop up. That dark black stuff there in the background, that is water, specifically salt water. And then, there you go, pop that inside. Just can zoom in. You see this distance with these conditions, the zoom actually is quite helpful. And now you can see obviously they're even closer, so in this position they're roughly 150 yards away. Let me mess with the zoom, excuse me, the focus. And as you can see here, you can see like the differences of how thick their clothes are and stuff like that starting to show up. We go picture in picture there. You guys can get an idea of what it looks like when they're zoomed in. But, you know, even with this brush around, they're still popping pretty hot out of it. And again, guys, we're not weapon mounted, so otherwise it would be a little bit more stable. Just trying to hold it as best I can. You can see that it does a decent job in terms of stabilization for a thermal at this price point. So now we're going to walk you guys through some of the different features here on the Optic itself. Obviously, this is the 635 that we are using right now. Have it mounted up here on a tripod right now. It's probably 90, 95 degrees outside, very sunny, so these are not optimal thermal conditions, so I just want to let you guys know that. There should be some other thermal images that will run in that we either filmed at night or at dusk. That will give you a better idea, sort of low light performance. That's really when thermal shines. Obviously it works in the daytime, as you guys can see right now, but it pops a little bit better at night. So with that, let's kind of like walk through some of the menus here. We have it set up with the picture in picture there. You can actually move that around depending on where you want it. However, I personally prefer picture in picture. I actually kind of love it. However, you can turn it off though if you don't want it. That's fine. We have it set here at the low magnification. This is 1.5x. Now with the lower resolution, or the more budget one that we have as well, that one goes down to 2x. So you definitely get a little bit wider field of view here with this one versus the budget one. Now, it's not a ton, obviously. A half of a magnification, if you will, is not going to be a lot, but this, I believe, is in the black hot mode, if you will. I pretty much always use either black hot or white hot, but they do offer a number of different palettes, so let's kind of walk through it. You guys can see there, it's got a little rainbow effect for it. And obviously this is iron hot is what they call it. And then there, you see the more traditional white hot. One thing I'll tell you right now is that white hot, in my opinion, looks a lot better at night, like when it's actually dark. It looks a little dark here. However, that's because of how I have the thermal set. So you can actually set the brightness, you can set the contrast, you can do all that within your actual menu. So that's up to you guys as to how you want to set it up, but I have it optimized for nighttime, if you will. So just know that going forward. And getting into the menu there, you can see we have our clip on. So that's to set it up to either be a clip on or a scope. We have it off because, of course, we are in the scope configuration right now. There we have the connection, so you can set it up for wireless and Bluetooth. There we have our zeroing, so that way you guys can set it up with however you want to in terms of reticle as well as point of zero, again, for up to 10 rifles. And then we have the different reticle options there. We'll walk you through a few of them here. And as you guys can see there, some of them are FFP, first focal plane, some of them are second focal plane, some of them are simple, some of them are a little bit more complex and give you a little bit more features. One thing I will tell you is that sort of a challenge, if you will, when shooting thermals at distance is reading the wind. It becomes much harder than it is with a regular scope. Not that it's easy with a regular scope, but I would just take that into consideration when thinking about which reticle you actually want to pick. And of course, you can switch different types of reticle colors as well, as you see here. Set it up for whatever your heart desires. And right below that is where we have our picture-in-picture settings. So as we said, we can set it up wherever you want. It really is just up to you as to how you want it. Some folks might like it off in the corner like that. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like it in the center as we had it, but that is a preference thing. Of course, you can also turn it off. And here's where you're going to set your recording settings, as we mentioned earlier. There's a ton of them. You can kind of roll with that how you want. We also have our super resolution, which is a very cool feature. I haven't been using it, but I want to show you guys this here on camera so you guys can get an idea of what it looks like. So what this is it's actually an AI feature that's built into the Optic. It's built into all of them, and it improves the resolution. Depending on which model you have, it will improve it to a different degree. I should be rolling that in here on your screen so you guys can see that. But there you go. That's the difference with it on and off. So it definitely makes it look like a higher resolution thermal. It's very cool. I've messed with it. I haven't shot anything with it in terms of the shooting footage. I wanted to let that sort of be the manual and then give you guys the aha moment, if you will, right there. And I think we did that there. So let's just turn it off again to give you an idea. And one thing I should mention there that I don't think I mentioned so far in this video is that what you guys are actually seeing on your screen is not as good as what I see here with my eye. That's the case with all thermals. I have no idea why that is. It might be an ITAR thing, honestly. For example, I can't actually film the menu and put it up on any social media apps, technically by law, because that violates ITAR. I'm not sure if the resolution is also sort of governed by that in terms of what you can publish via recording, but just know that that is a thing. At this point, you guys have a pretty good idea of the output of the Optic in terms of what you can expect to see if you're actually looking through it. Again, the actual in-person experience is a little bit better. A few things about the actual optics themselves that I didn't talk about so far. Just the regular old layout of the manual of arms, if you will, which is the buttons on a thermal. So we have the power button there, which does exactly what you think it would. Long press to turn on, long press to turn off. Up button, down button, which is also going to be your play button. That will be your back out button. And then of course the middle one is how you work through all the menu, and you're either going to press or long press to have different results. It's a pretty simple overall layout. I've used a lot of thermals. It's pretty simple. There are some that are a little bit crazy out there. Obviously we have our front cap there that I definitely recommend keeping closed if you are not, looking at it, because of course that lens right there is what enables you to see. You don't want to get it all messed up. We have a USB-C port over there. And then we have our battery on this side. Interesting thing to note that I didn't know when I got it in, and I tried charging it through the port, and I was like, man, why is it not charging? It doesn't actually. If you pull your manual up, that's not actually what it's for. That side port is there for two reasons. Number one, to plug in and plug it into like a computer, let's say, and then you can pull your files out and put it on your computer. That said, one thing I will tell you, I am an Apple user, so I'm going to give you kind of a con, if you will. If you have an Apple, it's not going to pull straight out. If you have an Apple, what you have to do is you have to get it on your app, which the app's super easy to work with. The app is very, very good, very well thought out, but you have to get on your app, and then you can just airdrop it over to yourself on your computer. So just know that. But if you have a PC, you don't have to worry about that. So pros and cons there, but that USB-C port also works with external batteries. So if you have a external battery that you guys want to use that you tape on your rifle, I know a lot of people do that. If you are, especially if you're like a hog hunter or something like that, just tape that power bank on there, and you can run that through there, and it won't actually work with the battery. It will not drain anything out of the battery, so you can keep your battery as a reserve. Or since it's an 18650 battery, you can also just have a bunch of 18650 batteries. Each one comes with two, which certainly is nice. Battery life should be here on your screen. What I've seen on the battery life is that it actually works a little bit longer than that. I'm guessing somebody had a different setting on there than I had, but I'm getting about 1.5 times what the actual advertised battery setting is, which is good. That's exactly what you want. Some of that I'm sure is going to be due to if you're recording or zooming in and zooming out all the time, those sorts of things. Just going to put a little bit more draw on the Optic, but all in all, pretty slick little optics here in my opinion. The HS325, if you are somebody who is just looking to get into thermal, I 100% would recommend it without question. Also, I should note that also works with firmware. So if you guys are updating any type of software on there, you can do it through that. You can also just connect through the Wi-Fi and do it that way on your computer as well. You can link them together through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and do your updates that way. So it's pretty well thought out. And then also, they're always changing things, speaking of the firmware, and making them better. So if you guys are interested in that, they have a YouTube channel. The link will be right here on your screen. That's where they post all their updates and stuff like that, which I definitely appreciate. I definitely check that out and learn from them. Additionally, one thing I didn't mention is going to be the mount here comes with 4 different screws. However, one thing I discovered is that it works with your traditional 3-power magnifier mount. So like if you have a EOTech G33, or I tried this with my Trijicon 3X magnifier, it works perfectly fine on there. You can actually use it as a flip to side function if you guys want to do that when you're using it in clip-on mode. That's a pretty cool feature, and I don't know if that was planned, but that is a nice feature to this optic. Like I said, I mean, if you're somebody who's just looking at getting into thermal, 100% would check this one out, especially if you're on a budget. If you want that better resolution, then definitely your 635 here is the way to go. It's better resolution. It's kind of hard to argue with that. However, for a lot of scenarios, particularly if you're talking about like within 100 yards or even 200, it depends on what you're shooting in the conditions, but even out to 200 yards, you're not going to notice a huge difference. It's if you're shooting at really small things at longer ranges, that's where that resolution really comes into play. But again, if your option is nothing or this, that gives you a lot of capabilities you otherwise wouldn't have. So definitely very cool in that regard. And the last thing, I don't think I mentioned the weight. They're right at 13 ounces, so very lightweight as well for what you get. I mean, I think you get a lot here regardless of which one you're going with. And with that, I think that's pretty much all I have for you. If you guys like this video and you're not subscribed, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you have subscribed, if you hit the notification bell either on Rumble or on YouTube and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week, there is a social media algorithm preventing you guys from seeing my content. Easy way to get around that. Sign up for the email at the website here on your screen. This will get you put on 2 different emails. It'll get you put on one that goes out once a month, and it has all of the videos since my previous month's email went out. So that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content because it goes straight into your inbox. That will also get you put on the daily deals email. So if these things go on sale, anything like that, optics go on sale, ammo, lights, lasers, firearms themselves, it will go out in the daily deals email. If an item is in the daily deals email on a given day, it's the cheapest I know of for that item because I've already done the price comparisons for you. So that way, hopefully it saves you guys some time and some money. Additionally, there's a good meme in there that a lot of folks like, so you can sign up for that. If you guys aren't into email and you just want to have a text, whenever there is a smoking deal or if a new video drops, you can sign up for the text message at the site here. Goes out at most once a day, not super spammy or anything like that because I have to pay for every single one of those texts. So I'm not going to spam you, I promise. So there is the SMS option, and pretty much that'll do it. Definitely some very good optics. I recommend both of them for sure if it meets what you guys are looking for out of the optics. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.